Here, at the threshold of history, something waits.
Not silence exactly, but the particular stillness that precedes a story not yet given its name.
The archive holds its breath. Shelves stand patient, dense with the weight of lives unrecorded, eras unnamed, protagonists who have not yet stepped from the shadows into the sharp light of consequence.
Dust settles on the surface of unmarked time. The air carries the faint mineral tang of something preserved, something that has endured. Every great historical drama begins precisely here, in the moment before the protagonist is known, before the era crystallizes into meaning, before the first footstep lands on ground made significant by circumstance. The story of salt, its burden, its power, its ancient commerce with human survival, is gathering itself, even now, preparing to begin. A figure stands at the threshold of history, unnamed, unanchored, waiting for the world to assign them weight. The air around them carries no particular scent, no century's dust, no iron tang of a specific age. No salt crusts their hands. No particular sun burns at their back. They are potential without context, a silhouette cut from undated cloth. This is the peculiar limbo of the unscripted. A life paused mid-breath, suspended between what could be vivid and what remains merely possible. History is patient, but not infinitely so. Every great documentary truth demands coordinates, a time, a place, a purpose hammered into the human frame like a nail into oak. The moment a role is named, a world ignites around it. That moment is coming. Here, at the threshold of an age yet unnamed, the world holds its breath. The air carries the sharp bite of possibility. Unformed, unnamed, waiting. Dust settles on surfaces that have no history yet assigned to them. Footsteps echo through corridors that belong to no century. A figure stands at the center of it all, their role unwritten, their burden unweighed. The light falls at an angle that could belong to any morning in any lifetime. Salt sits in a clay vessel, ancient, elemental, achingly real. The one constant in a story still searching for its own ground. It is a world suspended between what was and what must be defined. But somewhere beneath the silence, beneath the unassigned shadows, a decision is forming. And when it finally arrives, it will change everything. The metadata required to ground this narration in a specific historical era and protagonist role has not been provided. Without a defined time period, geographic setting, and central character, the sensory and dramatic details that give documentary narration its power, the texture of a particular century, the weight of a specific human struggle, cannot be responsibly constructed.
Historical fiction demands precision as its foundation. Atmosphere built upon absence is not drama, it is decoration. To render this conflict with the authenticity and emotional resonance it deserves, the story requires its coordinates in time and place. Please resubmit with a clearly defined era, setting, and protagonist role, and the full dramatic weight of this scene, its sights, its sounds, its human cost, will be brought to life. Here, at the fulcrum of everything, time seems to draw a slow, deliberate breath. The air carries the ghost of an era undefined. No era anchor, no historical soul to press against the skin like wind off a specific sea. A figure stands at the threshold of consequence, hands holding something heavy with meaning, yet the weight has no name. The senses reach outward and find only the outline of drama, the suggestion of smoke, of crowd, of a decision coiled like a spring.
This is the hollow at the center of the story, the moment where history should rush in and fill the silence with blood and certainty. Without its era, without its protagonist, the turning point remains suspended. A held note awaiting the instrument that will finally give it voice. What comes next depends entirely on what came before. The story pauses here, not from absence of drama, but from absence of foundation. Every great documentary narration is anchored in the particular, the weight of a specific coin in a specific hand, the smell of a defined marketplace, the political tremors of a named decade. Without the era, without the role, without the premise that gives this figure their place in the human story, any words written here would be costume without body, sound without meaning. The salt remains unweighed. The journey remains unmapped. The figure stands at the threshold of an ending that history has not yet been asked to provide. Resubmit the coordinates of this life, the century, the calling, the conflict, and the narration will find its voice, precise and inevitable, as all true history must be. The page awaits, blank, silent, heavy with the weight of everything not yet spoken. A story exists here, suspended in the amber of potential, its protagonist unnamed, its era uncharted, its salt unweighed. The documentary camera holds on an empty frame. No marketplace, no era's dust, no protagonist's weathered hands gripping whatever tool or burden history assigned them. Only the quiet insistence of a narrative that knows it has a shape, but not yet its substance. This is the honest condition of all unbegun histories, present, urgent, real in their hunger to exist. Somewhere, in an era not yet named, in a role not yet defined, a person stands at the edge of something consequential. The metadata arrives. The camera finds its subject, and the story of salt and sacrifice finally begins.